Hi everybody, we're back. So it's a little bit later. We finished the Bladesinger build today. It's done as far as I'm concerned. There are ways to make it different, ways to make it maybe better. I still think Shadowblade is the move. But I think I want to do it again. Yeah, I think I just want to do it again. I'm eating right now. I will be done eating soon. But I'm going to start another character build. So I'll avoid eating during the parts that I hopefully record mostly. We'll see. Yeah, I want to create a new character. Boom, bam, standard, and I'm going to roll for them the same way. Yeah, I still think 3 was fine. It did give us a very powerful build last time, but I don't know. Maybe we'll adjust after this one. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Super strong, super usable. Honestly, in some ways, I mean, other than this 6, which is brutal, but gives the character a lot of flavor. Maybe depending on where it goes. It's like defining. But 16, 15, 14 is like standard array, but one better, which is amazing. It's kind of like the other character, but a little bit different, a little bit worse because it doesn't have an 18, obviously. That's a very interesting character stat block. I like it a lot, actually. It's like a little bit more extreme point buy in a lot of ways because like this would be an 8 or like more extreme standard array, perhaps. 2 average stats, 3 good stats, 1 really bad stat. It's really nice. It's really interesting. I'd love to create something interesting with this, but I want to see what else we roll up because I want to see. It might be something very, very interesting, and that might be very fun. Hmm. 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 With a purely single attribute focused thing, like this will be a slightly more powerful character for a little while, but this is way better for every other reason. And also, I think this is more interesting. I think I like the 6 better than just being average at a bunch of things and really good at one thing and not so good at one thing. I like it more. So let's find out what our last roll set is. Starting with a 13 is interesting. Starting with 2 13s is doubly weird. Okay, that's low, low, low. That's middling. Could be really good. 4 3s. What the fuck? What the fuck? All right, so 3 13s, 2 9s, a 14. That was some weird math that happened right there. All right. Well, that was interesting in how it was rolled, and having a bunch of 13s means you could be a multi-class god, but that doesn't make you a good or valuable character necessarily. There are ways to do it. There are ways to be like 3 this, 3 this, 2 this, 1 this, and I'm amazing at a bunch of things. And good for you. Not what I'm going for. I think my move is Mr. I basically took random standard array and made it a little bit weird. I think it's an interesting setup, and I'm going to spend some time eating and thinking about what to do with it. I think the biggest question as I look at these stats is like, where does the 6 go? Because it's so defining for the character. If that's a 6 dexterity, then everything else has to shift around it. We're a strength-based character. We have to wear heavy armor if we want a decent AC. Like, pretty much base. There's nothing else. Or we're like a turtle, right? But everything switches around it. If that 6 goes in charisma, we got nothing charisma based. If it 6 goes in wisdom, we're bad at seeing around us. It's really interesting, but it's going to have a huge effect depending on where we put it. I think the easiest thing to do with a stat this low is actually to put it in dexterity because you can just offset it super hard with other features. But I don't feel like I want to do that. I feel like I want to do something different. I don't know. We've got so many good stats in different places that it's not hard to just put a 14 in dex and use medium armor with something and be fine and have a grand time. I don't know. Okay. A story sort of has bloomed in my mind as I've eaten my delicious apricot mustard chicken. I have yet to eat the green beans yet. I don't really want them. I'm a little bit full. I'm going to eat them in a moment, but I'm going to put them to the side for now, and I will eat them later. For now, I will talk to you about the story that has come into my head. I wasn't sure what I wanted to build this as, but I was looking at the dump stat, the 6. Man, where can we put that? Well, I don't want to put it anywhere, obviously, because putting it somewhere is bad. But I thought, like, what is the impact of this low score on different stats? I've seen it played out a low score in intelligence, as somebody like Grog Strongjaw from Critical Role. Big dumb barbarian is big dumb man, like ale, like sex, like kill, like have good time, like not like bad people, like friends, not like enemy. Done, easy. And there are a lot of different ways you can play that, and they're all very interesting. And then I thought about the same thing in charisma. What's low charisma character? Well, shit, that's hard actually, and it hurts you a lot, and especially because you're living in like a social setting, and so if you're role playing out your characters being an asshole or somebody with low charisma, then you're role playing out low charisma, and that sucks. It actually, I don't find it fun. No, some people maybe find it fun, and it can maybe vibe off of it and create funny moments and stuff off of it, but I don't know how to do that. I don't really want to put in charisma. I thought about wisdom. Well, wisdom is insight and perception, but it's also like having your head on a swivel, like knowing what's going on and not being duped by people. So I was thinking about like a fool, right? Like a foolish character. A character that can be easily tricked by other people. And Scanlan Shorthalt is actually a foolish character. In terms of his stats, he has a very low wisdom score, but it almost never comes up. But it is baked into the way that Scanlan plays the character. He plays him as rash and foolhardy, and he doesn't see what's going on very frequently, and so he makes decisions on his own, and sometimes those decisions work, and that's really cool. But what might happen to a foolish character like that, and where might their other ability scores be, started me thinking about somebody like this who is probably like relatively dexterous and maybe relatively hardy and like sturdy, but is quite foolish, but maybe is able to talk their way through things, being conned and convinced to go do some kind of a job, or like maybe consistently being conned into going and doing some kind of a job. And so somebody who's like a criminal in almost in like the Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels movie sort of way, or the Snatch sort of way, where they're not really intentionally a criminal, but they're just a foolish person who gets conned by the people around them and pushed into weird circumstances. And so I started thinking about that, and I was like, oh shit, what if it was like, if this character was in the middle of their Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels weird heist bullshit, something went crazy and it's way more valuable than we expected, when we meet them during the campaign. Like that's what's going on with them, and some shit has gone weird. So the idea was, perhaps this person was tricked by somebody with ulterior motives into going and stealing an object of great power. This object being perhaps a weapon of some kind. And you might be able to tell from the idea and the way that I'm presenting it that this might be a hexblade fucking warlock, baby. So someone who is deeply foolish, low wisdom, relatively intelligent, like not unintelligent as a person, but also not brilliant. We're going to say very charismatic, relatively dexterous, capable of sneaking in low level sneaking environments. I think I would be foolish not to put this in Constitution. For meta purposes, strength doesn't matter to us very much. Intelligence would be lovely if we could bump it, but we can't. So I'm going to apply these here and create our character. Not very perceptive, not very insightful, and we're not going to grab proficiency and insight if we can help it. We might grab proficiency and perception to offset this, but I'm not grabbing proficiency and insight. I want this person to be easily fooled, and that's going to play into the relationship with this weapon, because this weapon is going to be sentient. And it's going to have fooled our character as soon as they picked it up and stole it, and the weapon has probably convinced us that we should run away with it instead of returning it to its rightful owner or something like that, and we are in the midst of that immediately. Awesome. I think that seems really fun. Like a character who is simultaneously has got problems, has a background that's clear, right? Is a fool and is probably not very wealthy because they keep getting caught out of their money, probably. But has picked up some weird skills over their lifespan in various places. Suddenly picks up this item and gains weird magic power, but is also being controlled in somewhat the same way that they always have been for their entire life, into doing, to some extent, the weapon's bidding. But also it gives this character, as a character, this sudden chance to be free in a weird way. Even though they're in the same circumstance with the weapon, they're free from that from other people because they have power on their own now. And I think that's maybe really interesting for us as a character. Um, so let's continue. We'll have 14 dexterity, 15 constitution. I don't know what race this character is, but I'm thinking variant human for reasons, because of course I am. Why wouldn't I be? Thinking that for reasons. We'll see. I don't know if I want them to be a hexblade to start with. I may, but I may want to start with a level in rogue, and I think that maybe makes sense for our character, right? Let me think about it. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, positively, we're going to start with a level in rogue. I don't see a way not to do it. I am going to be building this character toward level 6, so it would be possible to just go hexblade, 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 hexblade. And just be a hexblade and just build out a big ass hexblade and do a bunch of hexblade damage. Totally viable. Super doable. But our level 6 features for Hexblade Warlock, or Warlock in general, aren't that crazy, are they? I don't think so. Let's go check. I believe that we only get one thing. Well, we get two things. We get one more spell known, which won't matter because we'll probably have just a couple spells that we really care about that we'll choose. Our invocations upgrade at 5. They don't upgrade at 6. Our spell slots don't upgrade at 6. We don't get new spell levels. We get the Accursed Spectre, which gives us a cool spectre, which is cool, and we can do it, and it remains in our service, but we can't bind another one if it dies, which is still good and is cool. But we get a lot from Rogue. And we don't get that much from Hexblade 6. We get a ton from Hexblade 5 because we get 2 attacks. It's amazing. But we get a lot from Rogue. So let's take a trip down Roguery Lane. Our character, whatever background they come from, is definitely starting off as a rogue. The main thing that this gives us is it gives us way more proficiencies. It gives us expertise in some of those things, which is wonderful. Thieves' Cant, the secret knowledge of the underground. Solid reason to, I guess, I was going to take the criminal background, and I guess I still can because it seems to make sense to me. I don't think there's any, I mean, Urchin would be the only thing that would make more sense. That would also make sense, but deception, stealth, perfect. And we already get Thieves' Tools as a rogue, so we're chilling. We just can choose something else. We can grab our playing cards because we probably get duped in playing cards all the time, and that's good for us. That makes sense for us thematically. We probably love asking people to play cards with us and then losing money to them. But we're charismatic and we make friends this way too. And this character builds itself, right? Charismatic but a fool. It's perfect. It's great. And we got those tools already. We could grab Tinker's tools. We could grab Weaver's tools. We could grab Woodcarver's tools. I think we're going to grab Poisoner's tools. Yeah. I like that. I like that proficiency a lot. Very cool. And we are a criminal spy, deception, stealth, playing card kit, poisoner's kit. Beautiful. Okay. Rogue skills. We're not gonna grab insight no matter what, because we're just going to be bad at that forever. We have to be. I think we have deception. We're going to grab persuasion because we got to be able to talk our way through things. We're not going to grab performance because we're not a performer. We are a fool and we know how to use it maybe. Something to think about. I think we'll grab sleight of hand because we're sneaky and we like to steal things. It would be lovely if we could get Arcana or something. I think we will get perception just to offset how bad we are at it. And I think we might as well get acrobatics to get away from grapples because it's a reasonable thing to expect us to be grappled in the future. Probably, maybe, who knows? But it's worthwhile to have that check. Expertises. Now we could go just persuasion deception here. It would explain how we convince this weapon to come with us, but also I guess we are being convinced by the weapon, or maybe it's both, or who knows. You can play it however you want. I'm probably never going to get to play this character, so do what you want with it. We could go persuasion deception for our expertises here, and I really like doing that on rogues. It makes you like a rogue bard that's better than either. We are a charisma-based class character, and there are chances that you might have another rogue in your party, and if so, I would absolutely do that. Make yourself the dankest party face that you could possibly be. But just persuasion and deception proficiencies is still pretty fucking good for being a party face. If you need to be, we're not going to worry about it too much. For right now, I think we're just going to grab stealth because it's useful. And, no, I think we will grab deception. It comes from our background. It's like something that we've trained. It's something that we do a lot of. And we're going to be lying a lot because the people who are after us are going to be after us, and our patron, our whatever our weapon is going to be something that we're going to lie to, and we're going to lie to our team about it, and we're going to lie about a lot of things, and we're going to get caught a lot lying, but we're going to lie a lot. That's just how this character is going to be. And I think that's our starting character. So let's think about how we can make this character as good as we can, and the race and the equipment that we can give them to optimize them. The one biggest thing that we will have to choose is what our weapon that we have gone and stolen for somebody else consists of. What kind of weapon is that? And there's one option that's kind of really cool, and I think maybe is what I want to do, but it's maybe not something you could convince your DM to let you do because it's kind of crazy too. There are firearms. Yeah, there are firearms. Oh, that would be so fun. So the idea that I have is, and this is something that you're not going to be able to swing at every table, not even close. You're stealing experimental weaponry. A pistol. That's right, a pistol. Perhaps a pistol Exandria from Matt Mercer's Stiff. I don't think a pepper box, it would be too good. It's just too good. It's because it's reload 6, misfire 2, and it deals a d10, and it's 80 range, 320 feet range. Oh, it's too good. But Pistol Exandria is a little less good. It's good still. It's way better than anything else we could get as a rogue, but it's 1d10, and it's reload 3. I'm sorry, reload 4, misfire 1. You have to spend 1 attack or 1 action to reload. So, but you get 4 attacks with it before you have to. Oy, oy, oy. And then there's the palm pistol, and then there are the feats that work for it. Which you could potentially take at level 1 to get like really good at it. Be capable of using it, and just consider that something that like the pistol just lets you magically do, and then you can make the pistol your hex weapon, right? Like, you see where I'm going with this. Like, the thing is cursed. What if you were stealing the pistol, like one of the early pistol designs, like a prototype pepper box from Percival DeRollo himself, right? Oh, what a cool idea, right? You were you're a fool who was duped into going on a mission to go and steal a magic fucking pistol that's in like a museum in Whitestone somewhere. Um, as one of the designs that Percy made, and you don't know that it's still infested with something dark, and neither does anybody else. I love this idea. I love that idea. Let me check the feats, though. There's Firearm Expert, and then there's Gunner. One of them is Matt Mercer's, or Firearm Specialist. One of them is Matt Mercer's, and one of them isn't. Yeah, okay, so Firearm Specialist gives you the proficiency. If you misfire, you can blah, blah, blah. You can, when you attack with a one-handed weapon, you can use a bonus action to attack with a loaded firearm with the light property you are holding. And only the palm pistol, I think, has the light property. Yeah, and it's a D8. Okay. But it's reload 1, which is bad. And you don't get anything to offset that unless you are a gunslinger. But nah. The thing that we pick up, you're going to know what it is before I even tell you. It's really simple which item, what kind of an item we pick up as our thing, what kind of a thing it is that we were sent to steal. It is one and only one thing, and it is the best ranged weapon in the game of Dungeons and Dragons. It is, of course, a hand crossbow. Boop. I'm tempted to give myself a hand crossbow +1. Just as like an idea, but it doesn't matter. If we get to level 5 in Hexblade, we can swap one of our invocations, perhaps, potentially, if we want to, for a +1 anyway. So maybe we just don't have to worry about it. Cool. It'll be a normal, basic-ass hand crossbow because we haven't, at level 1, fully unlocked the magic of it yet. And I'm not going to consider that part of my gold buy at all because I've gone and stolen it. I didn't buy nothing. I stole it, baby. I will, however, do gold buy for the rest of things. I think it's supposed to be 44 times 10 for my background, so I will randomize it. It's 10, so that's 100 gold pieces that I can purchase worth of stuff. I will purchase 45 gold pieces worth of study leather because it's really good if you can gold buy. Wink. And I will have a pretty good AC. Ooh, wait, no. I want a breastplate. How much is a breastplate? Breast. It's too much, isn't it? Not proficient. Breastplate. How much is it? 400 gold pieces. Fuck, dude. Okay. Well, that's what happens. What about hide? 12 plus 2. Studded leather would be 12 plus 2 anyway. They'd be the same, but the hide is way cheaper. Also, I don't want magical, so just normal ones. Hide, yeah, it's 10 gold. I could do that, and that would put me at 14 for now, and I could just wait until I get more money and save it up for a breastplate. That's doable. It's doable. I could wear spiked armor for 75 gold, which I'm not going to do. I'd love to get a shield. It's 10 gold pieces. I will do that, probably. It's worth it. It's not worth it. I can't use it even with crossbow expert. Never mind. I can't have a shield. Actually, that sucks. That's fine. Pride silk, super expensive. Padded is almost useless. Light armor is good. Half plate is not cheap. Chain shirt is usable. Put me at a 15, which is one more. It's cheap. What about scale mail? 50 gold. 14 plus 2. And I think disadvantage. I don't see disadvantage. I'm going to add scale mail. Just to buy it. And flat leather that I can wear for my first day. No, I guess I won't buy scale mail because I just wouldn't. I'll spend the 10 gold pieces for regular leather armor, and we're going to be down in AC on day 1, and it's going to suck. So we're just going to have flat leather armor, and we had 100 gold pieces. So yeah, that's 10 gold. 10 gold. Great. We're at 90 gold pieces. And we're going to hold on to some of that and buy medium armor as soon as we can, which will be at level 2. But for now, I want to figure out how much money I want to spend on stuff, because there are some things that I need. I do think I want a Dungeoneer's pack. I think it's worth it. Backpack, crowbar, hammer, pitons, torches, tinderbox, rations, water skin, and a bit of rope. We're going to get that easily. We need thieves' tools. That's 25 gold pieces. Okay. And the Dungeoneer's pack was 12 gold pieces. Sorry. Dungeoneer's pack, 12 gold pieces. So 25, 37. 90, 60, 53. Great. I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's right. Okay. What other packs are there? Burglar's pack would be what I actually want. Still gives me the crowbar, the hammer. Yeah, I'm sorry. Oops. Backpack. Remove. Hopefully that removes all of the things. Yep, it does. Thieves' tools I already have, and we want one of these burglar's packs. Boink. I would get that for free with the non-gold buy option, but I think I get better things with gold buy anyway. So that is also 4 gold more, so we're at 49. Oop, thought I forgot. I didn't. All right, let's go. I don't think I need any of the other packs. They're not useful, and I already have ball bearings, which is nice. I would like some caltrops. They cost me 5 copper. I'm not even going to count it. I just have a bag of caltrops. I would like some oil. 0.1. We'll get 10 flasks of oil for a gold piece. Easily done. 48. Alchemist's Fire is not as cheap, though, is it? No, it's 50 gold a flask. Thank you. I have a tinderbox already? Yep. Okay. Vials of acid are neat, but expensive, and I don't want that. Don't need a holy symbol for any reason, I don't think. Don't need arrows. Ooh, I will need some bolts, because my crossbow cannot produce them on its own. That's unfortunate, but I can buy a lot and we'll be fine. I'm looking through these things, though. There are some cool other things that I might want, like tool proficiencies. I would like to purchase my poisoner's kit if I can. Just to have that from level 1 would be great. Poisoner's kit is 50 gold pieces. Shit. So I won't actually purchase that. Any ability checks you make to craft or use poisons. I don't know where the rules are for that, but I know that they exist. I hope they exist. Full of angling, potions of healing, pouches, prosthetic limbs, rapiers. We could pick up a rapier. I think we're just going to use our crossbow, though. We're not going to have to worry about it because we're going to have a crossbow expert. So, studded leather, thieves' tools. I already have those. I purchased them. They cost me a lot. And we're off and into magic weapons. So I think we're set, guys. That's all the stuff that I need. And we have 48 gold pieces left to buy other stuff. Great. We will use that to purchase better armor in 1 level. I'm also going to look up a table of money per character level. PC wealth upon reaching level. This is based upon the DMG and Xanathar's Guide amount, and this does not include magic items. This is by Ajexton on the forum. Very cool. I think I'll go with this. So, and these are rounded up to the hundreds. So 700 gold for 5th level makes sense. And 6th level up bumping to 3,000 gold also makes sense. It actually lines up pretty well with how some of my characters have been. Useful for starting. Yeah, it's cool. Cool. So we'll say that once we get level 2, we'll get another 100 gold. Or no, we'll get a total of 100 gold. I see. So we started off with 100 gold starting gear, right? And then we will get 100 gold more next level. I will add that in for next level. For now, though, I think our character is probably either custom lineage or variant human. I'm sorry, it's true. We need a bunch of feats right now. We need them for this character. We just need them to make this character work. There's one I could give up one of them, and I'd be okay with it. And here's why: it's because I don't like building around Sharpshooter or Great Weapon Master. I just don't like building around them. I'd rather build this character differently and not use them or not plan to. But it's really good, so you can take it if you want to. But I think we need the feat at level 1 and then the feat at level 4 to come online quickly. And I think that it's really worth it. Even if we don't take Sharpshooter, there's another thing that we could take that I think is worth it as well. I'm going to eat my green beans. Or my haricot there. Hariko. Thinking about it, I think everything that I've done so far is correct, but I want to talk about race options. I think that the two options that obviously stand out are custom lineage and variant human, and they would be different and different choices based on your stat distributions for the most part. Also, there are some other benefits, like custom lineage can have dark vision, which is kind of nice. Variant human does not, which kind of sucks, but there are ways around that, and we have torches and stuff. It might even play into the idea that we're a dumbass thief who can't even see in the fucking dark. But it hurts a lot to not have dark vision until you can get like goggles of dark vision or goggles of night or whatever. Still, the ability scores +1 to +1 is really good, and same with custom lineage. The +2 to our charisma, we would think, would be very good as well for us. But it's hard to choose one over the other, and I think there are a bunch of other really powerful, viable options if we were wanting to get more out of our level 1 but less out of our feats, that I think would be viable, but we'd be way worse up until level 4 because there's a feat that just really, really improves everything that we can do, and we really would like to take it at level 1. So I'm going to recommend once again that we take either variant human or custom lineage. I think for our stat distribution it's hard to choose. I think for me, for my purposes, oh man, it's so hard. A +2 to our charisma would mean way better everything for forever. A +1 to our charisma and a +1 to our con would be more survivability, and that would be really nice too. There are a lot of reasons to go with either one over the other. I think other things that obviously stand out as race choices are actually Mountain Dwarf, because it's really good and it gives you armor proficiencies right off the bat, which is kind of cool. It's just kind of cool. You get light and medium armor, and you get cool stuff with history checks, which is nice, and battle axes, hand axes, light hammers, and war hammers, which is cool. But you're a dwarf, and that's a good thing. Dwarves are great, but you're a dwarf, and I don't think that fits with my idea of this character too much. It could. I mean, I've played some goofy dwarves, but it doesn't fit for me. Tiefling kind of fits in a weird way. I mean, you've been duped your whole life, and the way that people look down on you and try to make deals with you and stuff is probably a part of your lifestyle. I wonder if there's anything in Tiefling that's like actually really worthwhile, because there are a bunch of Tiefling subraces. Usually I look at them for the stat bonuses more than anything, but if we could get a +2 Ka and a +1 Con, which we can get via Tasha's from, I think, any of them, and if we get some interesting spells, we're going to be starved for spells known and interesting spells, and we'll be able to get the ability to get a couple of extra spells to cast once per day, or just in general, is going to be really good for us later. So I'm actually going to look through Tiefling quickly and see if there's anything of great value there. I'm also going to consider other races that have spell casting attached to them. Again, we're going to be weaker until we hit that level. I mean, it'll be level 5 for us because we're taking 1 in rogue and then we're multiclassing out. Oh, it's kind of rough to not have this feat at the beginning, because what we really want for our feat, I'll tell you right now, it's crossbow expert. If we have this at level 1, we are a rogue with 2 attacks with a crossbow and 1d6 sneak attack. We deal 1d6 +5 and 1d6 +5 on both attacks. We are almost about as good as it gets in terms of DPR as a character. The only thing that you can get that's kind of better than this is being like a barbarian with polearm master, and then you get to hit for like 1d10 plus 5 plus I'm sorry, not plus 5, but like plus whatever. For us it'll be plus 2 because our dex sucks, but 1d10 plus 2, and then or plus 3 or plus 4 or whatever you've got because you rolled it or you point bought it or whatever, and then 1d4 plus whatever that is, and 1d6 plus that, and 1d6 plus that is almost the same damage. It's negligible difference. It's really good. We also can do it from range, which is really valuable, and we can also do it from distance, which is really valuable. We also ignore the loading property of crossbows, with which we are proficient. This does not mean that we ignore the reload, the fact that we need a free hand to reload, so we cannot use a shield in a crossbow. This has been errated. It's just true. However, it does mean that we can like have a free hand at all times, which is very useful if we are, for example, a caster. We have a one-handed weapon and a free hand, and we can do somatic components and use components or somatic components with the hand, and we can grab stuff with it and do components with it and whatever. So we can have a component pouch if we want to, or an arcane focus, and we can draw it, stow it, whatever, but we also have to reload our crossbow in order to shoot it multiple times. But we don't have to deal with that too much. It's fast for us because of ignoring the loading property. It's great. Okay. Very cool. That's what we want. And that would make us very powerful, level 1 through level 5. But then we wouldn't get some cool things. So there are some other cool things that are maybe worth it, and I'm gonna look at all of Tiefling to see if they're worth it. Because we're not gonna be fighting in melee too much, most of the abilities that will come from Tiefling might not be valuable. Some of them will be, though. Thaumaturgy, Ray of Sickness, Crown of Madness. Charisma is your spellcasting modifier, which is great, but okay, not super useful. Dispater, Thaumaturgy, Disguise Self, Detect Thoughts. Okay. Fierna, Friends, Charm Person, Suggestion. Glacia, Minor Illusion, Disguise Self, Invisibility. That's very good. Quite powerful in some hands, in some ways. Ray of Frost, Armor of Agathis as a second level spell, and Darkness. Darkness on its own as a casting is amazing. But we'll be able to get that anyway if we want to. I don't know that I want to build around Darkness. It's just a thing. But Glacia is so far the most interesting of these. Levistus. I'm sorry, that was Levistus. Levistus is so far the most interesting by far. Mammon. Mage Hand, Tensor's Floating Disc, and Arcane Lock. No. Cool, but no. Mephistopheles, Mage Hand, Burning Hands, and Flameblade. No thanks. And Zerial. Thaumaturgy, Searing Smite, and Branding Smite. So that one would be cool if we were melee, but we're not. Branding Smite is really good, though. Ooh, actually, Branding Smite works not on melee, right? But we'd be giving up our bonus action. Searing Smite is that, but Branding? With a weapon attack. It doesn't have to be melee. And it deals 2d6 and reveals them if they're invisible, and they shed light and they can't become invisible, but you're concentrating on it. No. So none of these are interesting to me too much, except for perhaps Levistus. Armor of Agathis is cool, but it would be cooler if we were in melee. Just being able to cast it once per day as a second level is really huge. It's really nice. 10 temp HP, return melee damage to people if they attack you, and you get Ray of Frost for free, which just is an extra cantrip. It's not as good as Eldritch Blast, but it's cool. This is very neat. This is very tempting. Also, the once per day free cast of Darkness is huge. All of that together is really good. And it's the perfect ability score increases for us. It's kind of calling to me. Levistus Tiefling, to be greeted with stares and whisters. Yeah, that's the classic stuff. What is Levistus? Yeah, I'm going to look. Most hated of the archdevils, imprisoned in an ancient iceberg, ambitious but foolish, Shit, we might have to be a Levista's Tiefling. It seems to make more sense to me. I mean, even if it's not as powerful, I don't really care. It's still really cool. All right, I think we will. I think it makes us, I mean, it makes us just as powerful as we would be in terms of ability scores as like variant human, but we get to be a tiefling, and it's kind of cool. I don't build tieflings out that often. I'm going to choose to be a Levistus Heritage tiefling with a bit of frosty power in my bones. I'm going to leave everything exactly the way that it is. I feel like I should have resistance to cold damage, but that's okay. I won't bother changing it. Resistance to fire damage is better anyway, probably. It's kind of just nice. Ray of Frost cantrip. Armor of Agatha spell as a second level spell once per day. That's so good. And darkness spell, which means that because we have this once per day, we are going to build around darkness. I will say that Drow is actually a good choice as well. Because, although, no, we will have the casting stat for it. Let me look at, well, but then there's the resistance, the sunlight sensitivity. It's not as well rounded in some ways. You get hand crossbow proficiency, which is neat. You get perception proficiency for free, which is nice. That's good. Sunlight sensitivity sucks. Dark vision is better, which is great. Charisma +1, Dex +2, which doesn't help us that much, but we could swap them around given Tasha's. And our magic, we get dancing lights instead of ray of frost. We get fairy fire instead of armor of Agathis, but with a maxed out spell save DC, which we will have close to. It's another way to grant advantage on future attacks really hard, but we're probably not going to want to cast it, honestly, because it takes away a round of us attacking, and it's more worth it for us to attack. So we're not going to take Drow. We're going to just stick with my idea and the thing that really was calling to me and go with Levistus Tiefling. Again, I think custom lineage is the best move for this build, for sure. I think it's way more powerful, and I will take the like I reserve the right to go back and change to custom lineage or whatever and make it just a better, stronger character because it'll be making more attacks and it's just way stronger. But we already start out with an 18 in our charisma, which is lovely, a 14 in our dexterity, and a 16 in our con, which is all wonderful. We have more hit points by 1, which is quite nice as a level 1 character. Can't hate. I do want that perception proficiency back because it went away. We have our equipment. I've got a bunch of fun stuff in here, but mostly what we need is the hand crossbow, the basic leather armor, which we purchased, and I think we should spend a gold or whatever on a dagger, just to have one in case we have to make opportunity attacks or whatever. It's 2 gold pieces. We'll spend it happily. 46 remain. Great. So let's go ahead and look at what our character is capable of at this level. We are, of course, a level 1 rogue with a hand crossbow. We are not anything special. Honestly, we could use a short bow at this level. We could do anything else. We might actually choose to use our Ray of Frost cantrip that we have base as part of ourselves, not having imbued our innate magic with the magic of our weapon yet. We might have this hand crossbow around and be like, maybe not, and just shoot people with our Ray of Frost. We'd be more likely to hit them. We can shoot it from further, and it does slightly the same damage on average, really. It's slightly less damage on average because 1d6 plus 2 is 3.5 plus 2 is 5.5, but and so 1d8 is 4.5. So it's like the same, but we're more likely to hit with the Ray of Frost. We're probably going to be doing that for this level. However, with our hand crossbow, if there's somebody with a friend of ours near them, we get sneak attack. And so we will be making great use of that. If we have to, if we can, we will shoot them with our crossbow and we will deal 2d6 plus 2, which is instead 7 plus 2 is 9 average damage, which is pretty good. It's not great, but it's pretty good. We are not a high dexterity character, unfortunately. Level 1 is going to be hard for us. We want to run away mostly, stay hidden if we can, and shoot things with a crossbow or a Ray of Frost if possible, and hopefully our allies can help us by taking care of most of what's going on. Very good. Very good. That's our level 1. Hopefully, with our wisdom save being what it is, with our terrible scores in a lot of things, and our mediocre everything except our deception check, which is great, as well as our stealth, which is pretty good, and our persuasion, which is also pretty good. Gotta love that. Wait, how is our persuasion +6? Oh, we're proficient. Okay. Sweet. Yeah, we're great at talking our way through things. We're great at jumping over things. We're pretty good at sneaking through things. Not great at finding our way. Not great at seeing stuff. Really bad at medicine. Really bad at insight. Bad at history. Bad at athletics. Bad at arcana. We're bad at a lot of stuff, but we're very good at a couple of things, and that's kind of cool. Hopefully, we've managed to find ourselves embroiled into something even larger than our own theft of this magical item, and found our way into a fun and interesting campaign where we've picked up a couple of ne'er-do-wells to run with, some friends to roam around with, and perhaps during throwing out our Rays of Frost in our first combats or two, we have perhaps realized that there is a magical power speaking to us from within the magic weapon we have stolen. And so we have decided to make a bond with it, to form, you might say, a pact. A pact with a blade, except that it's not a blade, it's a crossbow. So let's go ahead and take our second class as Warlock. And I think we will be sticking with Warlock for a good little while here, probably for the rest of this build, but we'll see. Our otherworldly patron, of course, can be no other than the Hexblade. There is no other option for us. This is the choice that we are making, and it is the best choice that we can make. As we pool our magic within this weapon, and as we reach out to it and it reaches back to us, we find ourselves imbued with the strength of warriors beyond these planes. Perhaps this is a weapon that compiles the strength of everyone who's ever wielded it, and allows some of their abilities to be passed on. And maybe we're only the second or third person who's owned it, but it will continue growing more powerful with our use and ever use. And so it has its own reason for wanting to be found and used, because it learns new things. This weapon will probably be very frustrated with us because we are very dumb and we make bad decisions, but to some extent it will probably be happy because it can convince us to do stuff. I don't see this weapon as being evil in my view of this character's build, and I think that this is something to talk about with your DM, obviously, is like, do I play the weapon? How do we want to interact that? Do you want to, like, sneak something by me and make this something that's your own purview, or can I just have this weapon be something that we agree that it is and it's part of my build? I think about this in some way as, like, my artificer, Yamanu, in my campaign, has magical armor that is itself like a part of his backstory, and is itself alive to some extent and potentially sentient, and it was his mentor, and we've agreed who that character is, and I play that character for the most part, because there are things that character knows that Yamanu doesn't know, and it's interesting for him to not know them. So I think it's up to you. I think it's up to you and your DM, but talk about it with them. How, whenever you play like a Hexblade, I think it's really interesting to not just be like, I found a magic sword, or like, I just am a Hexblade and that's how it works. I just get the stats and give me the damage rollsies and I do it. If that's how you want to play it, that's totally fine, but I think it's way more fun and way more interesting to look at this core class feature and investigate it and figure out what it is for your character. And that's why I think centering my character's story around being this roguish fool who finds this thing, and that's the thing that sets them in their own direction and changes their whole pathway forward, because probably they were pretty stagnant as a rogue one, had probably been a rogue one for a while, wasn't leveling up, wasn't making a lot of money. This is important and interesting. So, we are told as a Hexblade that we acquire the necessary training to arm ourselves effectively for battle. I'm mixing words around because my brain does that, but that's fine. You gain proficiency with medium armor, shields, and martial weapons. Aw, shit, dog. We got shields. We can't use shields. We need a free hand to reload our crossbow, even with the crossbow expert feat, unfortunately. Dang it. But we do get medium armor, and we only have 14 decks, so we're taking it 100% easy peasy, no problem. Gimme, 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 gimme. However, there is more to this. The influence of your patron also allows you to mystically channel your will through a particular weapon. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can touch one weapon that you are proficient with and that lacks the two-handed property. When you attack with that weapon, you can use your charisma modifier instead of strength or dexterity for the attack and damage rolls. This benefit lasts until you finish a long rest. If you later gain the Pact of the Blade feature, this benefit extends to every pact weapon you conjure with that feature, no matter the weapon's type. That might be valuable for us later, depending on some things. We'll see. I don't think so, because I think we still want to use the hand crossbow, because one weapon is better than two, and having more attacks with it is better than anything else. But I think there is a viable version of this build that goes, like, and summons a heavy crossbow instead, and uses a two-handed heavy crossbow for a bigger damage die and more big boom boom. And just ignores crossbow expert to some extent. I don't think it's the version that we're going to play right now. So, we now get to use, if we choose... Oh, we also get some spells. Let's go and look at our spells, because there are a couple that we're definitely going to take. Eldritch Blast is an interesting spell. It's a really good spell. It's maybe the best cantrip in the game. Pretty easily, people would say that it's the best cantrip in the game, for damage at least. Prestidigitation, Shape Water even. There are other cantrips that are really good, but Eldritch Blast with the multiple beam scaling and the way that it interacts with invocations is the best cantrip in the game. I don't think we have any reason to take it. We have a ranged weapon. It shoots further than our ranged weapon, for sure. It does. But I don't want to take it. I just don't want to. I don't want to put invocations onto it. I don't want to invest in it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want it. I don't want none of it. We are an archer, so one thing that we can do is if we get a chance to set up, we can build ourselves a 5-foot cube of cover with minor illusion and then hide behind it. And if our enemies don't know that it's an illusion, or if we can convince our DM that we make a check with our spellcasting modifier perhaps to produce the illusion in a way that looks like we just magically produced some cover that's actual cover, and then we hide behind it or whatever, or just stand behind it, well, we can get some cover from that, and that might be very nice for us. So minor illusion has a place in our build. Mage Hand would also have a place in our build. Partly we can pick up arrows with it, which is kind of nice. Partly it's just useful in general for a thief, I think. It's just really good. Ooh, also a reason why we don't need Eldritch Blast, we have Ray of Frost. It's fine. We're set. True Strike is bad. Sword Burst is like a get off of me, but we can just shoot somebody if they're next to us. Oh, we can't because we have crossbow. We don't have crossbow expert. I think I have to take crossbow expert. No, I'm gonna stick with the tiefling. It's better. It's cool. It hurts me to not optimize that. Out, but I think I'm gonna stick with the tiefling. And I'm still not gonna take another cantrip or anything for damage. But I don't know. Minor illusion for the cover thing is cool, but your DM will get wise to it and might fuck with you on it because reasons. Actually, I think Friends might be really thematic. It's stupid, it's bad, and it's good, but it's bad, but it's good, but it's bad. But it would be really useful as a face, but it's bad, but it's good. So we're gonna grab it. Let's take Friends and Minor Illusion. Great. Those are our cantrips. That's rough. But we also have Ray of Frost. We're chilling. We have Ray of Frost, and we have now a hand crossbow that does good shit. We're taking Hex. There's no way that this build is not taking Hex. We have Armor of Agathis once per day for free, so I'm not going to take it as a spell, because we can already cast it as a second level spell, and that's great. I think I would consider taking Expeditious Retreat here, because it's kind of good. Melee weapon attack. I think we might want to take Shield. Especially because we'll be fighting at range, And we'll probably have Armor of Agathis cast on us, at least during one combat or two during our day, because we'll have it for an hour. If somebody shoots us from range, they're not going to take Armor of Agathis back. It's just going to deplete our temporary hit points, and it's going to be bad, right? Armor of Agathis, melee attack, right? We don't want that. We don't want that at all. So we want shield. We're going to take shield. We only have one spell slot, and we're going to be using it to cast Hex, so it doesn't really matter, but we're going to take shield because it's useful to have. It would suck to burn one of our spell slots on shield, but we have, like, not that much hit points. Oh, I've got the fixed HP. I'm going to switch it. I still want to roll the HP. It's so much fun. It's so much more fun. Please tell me that it went back. It didn't go back. Okay, so I'm going to go remove Hexblade. That sucks. And yeah, we're back to 11. And now I'm going to add a class. I'm going to add Hexblade, Warlock. And so it just adds my con modifier, and that's good. Hexblade. And spells, and I'll add the same spells, which were Minor Illusion and Mage Hand, I believe. I think that's what I chose. I think that's what I want. Minor Illusion, Mage Hand, Hex, and Shield. Easy. We are a level 2 character. Very, very good. And our hit points. Great. So rolled HP is 8. I need to roll a die, but I can't do it here, which sucks. I need to roll a d8 for my Warlock die, and that is what I'll roll for Ray of Frost. Boom. That's a 1. I re-roll 1s. It's a 5. We take those. It's just average. It's exactly what we would get anyway, so none of this mattered, but we will add it anyway and add in 13. Boop. We're at 19 hit points. That's not bad. Of course, we're d8s for everything, so we're going to be a little bit higher than our previous build. We also have +3 to con starting off instead of +2, so that's going to be a little bit higher as well. Very nice for us to have in every way, shape, and form. So, our combat now at level 2 becomes much better. I do still have to make some adjustments. I have to click on this hand crossbow, and I have to click Hex Weapon, and that will update it so that it uses our Charisma modifier for attack and damage rolls, which is very good because it's +4 instead of +2. Lovely. We are still a deceptive, persuasive, charismatic, stealthy, motherfucking thief jerk. Oh, also, I said that we would get 100 gold pieces, correct? So, that is what we're going to get. We get 146. Great. And I'm going to go and I'm going to assume that I will get a chance to go to the store and I will get to buy some armor with which I am proficient that is common. A chain shirt is 50 gold pieces. A breastplate is 400, which sucks. I'll have to save for it. 13 plus 2, however, is going to be better than our current 13. 15 would be nice. Scale mail is 50 and it's 14 plus 2, but it causes disadvantage on stealth, and it's not worth it for us because we're sneaky. Let me just check the chain shirt for 5e. Make sure that it doesn't give disadvantage. It does not, so we're going to buy that. We're not very strong. It's going to suck for us, but we're going to buy it for now. Boop. Eventually, that will be upgraded by 1 to be a breastplate. Also, I guess we could sell our leather for like 5 gold, so we probably lose 45 gold, right? So we are at 101 gold pieces. 101. And we can equip our chain shirt and have slightly more survivability. Bink. Bonk. 15 armor class. Gotta love to see it. Hey, it's not bad. So we are a level 2 rogue without cunning action. We don't have cunning action. We can't hide as a bonus action, which sucks for us. And it might be worth it for your build to grab a second level of rogue before even going hexblade. Totally viable. However, I am building toward level 6, and I would like to have 5 levels in warlock for reasons. So I'm not going to do that. But Now, at this level, we are basically no longer using Ray of Frost as our cantrip damage. We're going to get within 30 feet of somebody. We're going to use our bonus action, at least on our first round, to cast Hex on the first creature that we can. And when we have to, we'll move it to different people. We could alternatively cast Hexblade's Curse, which is another feature that we get from Hexblade, which I don't think I talked about. Gives us better stuff. You can curse one creature once per day. It's not a spell, so that's nice. And they're cursed for a minute. You gain a bonus to damage rolls equal to your proficiency bonus, which is arguably really good. It's just flat +2 at this level, which is great, and it'll scale, which is great. Scales more than Hex does, you would say. And technically, you can stack them because it's not technically concentration. And if they die, you regain hit points, and any attack roll you make crits on a 19 or 20, which is lovely. All of these things are very deeply good for us, and we would love to have either one of those things up. So you put one or the other on your opponent. If you're fighting a bunch of enemies, you put Hex on them, because you can move the Hex and deal more damage to other ones. Obviously, there's an interaction here that it's not necessarily worth it to Hex once we have Crossbow Expert, but for now, we don't have a use for a bonus action, really, so Hex away. Put Hex on a creature and then attack them with your attack, with your hand crossbow, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So we will bonus action Hex a creature. If it's a boss enemy or we're going to have multiple rounds, we might Hexblades Curse them, because I think it'll increase our damage more overall, but especially at low levels, Hex is the way to go. So we're going to Hex a creature. Pull out our hand crossbow, magic hand crossbow now, because it is our hex weapon, and we're going to fire at them with it. If we do hit, we will be dealing 2d6 plus 4 points of damage. We have +6 to hit, which is not bad. And so our total average damage is 3.5 times 2 is 7, plus 4 is 11 if we hit. That's pretty good. Solid rogue damage. Oh, wait, it's actually 3d6. Sorry. So 11 plus 3.5, so 14.5 damage, because we have 1d6 of sneak attack, and sneak attack still counts. To be clear, we don't have to use dexterity for attack. The attack must use a finesse or ranged weapon, and it does. So if we have the option and there's somebody near, our friend is nearby, or anything of the sort, then this is perfect for us, because we get to deal our Buko Bonko 1d6 of sneak attack damage. It ain't much, but it's honest work. Lovely. This is very good. We are relatively strong. This is not bonkers. This is not crazy. Essentially, we'd be the same damage for the most part, minus the Hex, if we were just 2 in Rogue. Maybe more, because we'd have advantage on those attacks, because we'd be bonus action hiding. We'd have better action economy. There are all sorts of reasons that we might want to be Rogue instead of the way that we are. Also, there are reasons that we might want to be custom lineage with Crossbow Expert, and I'm still thinking about it, but I'm going to stick with the Tiefling, because I want to build out this Tiefling to level 6 and just make them cool. So let's go ahead and up our level, because we will have fought around a little bit now with our magic crossbow and our prowess in battle, and we will be level 3 with 2 levels in Hexblade Warlock. This is a big level for Warlock. We get 2 spell slots instead of 1 spell slot, and we don't get another upgrade like that for a long time. But 2 castings of our 1 hour long Hex per day, as long as we can keep up concentration, and we should be able to, is really good. Or 1 casting of Hex and 1 that you have left to cast Shield, maybe, is really good. And I'm saying 1 per day, but it is per short rest. We know this, but still very good, very valuable. Beyond getting a second spell slot, and I think another spell known, which is quite nice and quite necessary, and I want something, but I don't know what. There isn't that much that I actually want that bad. I don't want Armor of the Agathis, because I already get it. Maybe Charm Person? Maybe, I don't know. Protection from Evil and Good could be useful. Expeditious Retreat could be useful, maybe. Arms of Hadar is pretty good. Just be like, nope, get away from me. Yeah, we really suck in melee. All right, fine. We've gotten to the point where it's going to be this way. It just is going to be this way. We're going to lose hit points because of this. I'm switching to custom lineage. I think it's just so necessary for this build. I want crossbow expert. I want to be able to shoot things in melee. I want to be able to use this crossbow as my main weapon. I want it. I want custom lineage. I'm still going to say that this character is a tiefling, though. but we're taking crossbow expert. Blink. Boom. Man, if you get a free feat at your table, just do that. So much cooler. We're medium. We're a tiefling. We have dark vision. We're a tiefling. Languages infernal. We're a tiefling. We are a tiefling. Great. And so we lose 1 constitution, which means we lose. Should lose. Oh yeah, we did lose hit points. Great. And I just made us level 2 in warlock, so I have to roll that. So let's roll a d8. Oh, I don't have one anymore because I don't have. Oh no. Okay. There's a little rolly thing over here. I just have to roll a d8. Roll. And it's a 5 again. All right. Well, we take those averages once more. Literally, I could have just done average HP and it would be the exact same now. So, okay. 24 hit points. Not bad for a level 3 character. And we get our 2 Eldritch Invocations. Oh, and I don't get darkness anymore. Fuck it, I'm staying Tiefling. I'm staying Tiefling. Fuck it. I'm wrong. I'm staying Tiefling. It's too cool. It's nowhere near as good. We would have more attacks. All of them would have Hex. It would be way better to be not a Tiefling, to be custom lineage. But we're going to do this anyway. We had the Ray of Frost cantrip. We've got more health by a fairly significant margin just because the 1 con. It's really good. Poisoner's Kit, all of the things that we've got them. It makes sense for our character, for our backstory, for all of our ideas, for everything. It's good. Okay, cool. So we're level 3 now. And I think that gives us that casting of something from being a tiefling, right? We get Legacy of Stygia. At 3rd level, we can cast Armor of Agathis spell as a 2nd level spell once with this trait and regain the ability to do so. Sweet. So we have that now. Every day when we go into combat, not only are we beefier in general, we have 10 for an hour, 10 temp HP, and whoever hits us in melee takes damage back. And we can guard that HP with shield if we want to. We are tanky for a rogue thing, creature. Very cool. Now we need to choose these. We already have the persuasion and deception proficiencies. We don't need them. Armor of Shadows would give us mage armor, which is cool, but it's not that good. Our dex isn't that high. Any of the blast cantrips don't matter, so Repelling Blast, Lance of Lethargy, Grasp of Hadar, and Agonizing Blast, none of them matter. Devil's Sight we are going to take. We're a tiefling. We have darkness. It's part of our legacy. It makes sense to take this. We're also going to be able to cast darkness ourselves in 1 level if we want to. And that advantage grant is really strong for granting sneak attack to ourselves. It's just so good. I don't want to build around it too much, but we have it and it's really, really cool. And the ability to do it, to synergize with other people who can do it, to do it on our own is just awesome. And I don't think there's anything else that's quite as cool as that or as powerful as that in here, especially considering that we're not taking the obvious option of Agonizing Blast, which with Eldritch Blast would be an increase to our DPR. It just would be. It would just be better than being a Hexblade here. Same obviously would be like if we were a Polearm Master Hexblade or if we were a Crossbow Expert Hexblade, we'd be better. But instead, we're going to build around the darkness idea because it's cool. It's cool, and I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, so we're going to grab that darkness thing. What else? Eldritch Mind for advantage on Constitution saving throws would be really cool. Getting the most out of our castings of Hex and not losing Hex and not losing darkness or something like that would be amazing. Mask of Many Faces would be pretty cool. I think we already have no, I guess we don't have a disguise kit, but so disguise self at will would be nice too for the fact that we are a party face, even if though we're an idiot and we have bad insight, which is bad for a face, we still could use that a lot. I also really like Eldritch Sight, which is detect magic at will. That's really cool. But of course, it is a ritual spell, so as long as you have the time, you can cast it anyway. Nothing else really stands out to me as really valuable. I think I'm going to choose for this character to grab Mask of Many Faces, and find that our weapon grants us the ability to transform ourselves into the guise of anyone that the weapon has seen. Maybe anyone that the weapon has held for sure, but also anyone that it's seen. Just cast Disguise Self, right? It's a thematic way of explaining a mechanical thing. That's super cool. We can get into places with disguises at will. We can step into one hallway and disguise ourselves into somebody else, and walk through a door and disguise ourselves into somebody else. And we can go anywhere. It's amazingly powerful, honestly. Of course, you get that same power as being a higher level caster, but we're going to be a warlock, and we don't want to be burning our very precious spell slots on castings of Disguise Self. So let's grab the invocation and we'll be done. We have Devil Sight and Mask of Many Faces. We are sneaky. We are capable of disguising ourselves, which is powerful. And we see in all the darkness. Ah, yes, very good. Very, very cool. Also, because the edge case exists, we have full dark vision, so we can see in dim light as well, which is important. Okay, cool. That's our level 3, and that's our Warlock. Not much changes with our damage at the moment. We don't have darkness yet. We're not going to be casting it yet. We're still just dealing our measly 1d6 hand crossbow damage and our 1d6 sneak attack damage, and that's all we've got. That's all she wrote. Still, it's really 3d6 damage if we have Hex up, so that's still pretty fucking good. 3d6 is as good as we could expect. I mean, it's as good as a bunch of cantrips at level 11. It's great. It's real good. Eldritch Blast with Hex would be dealing 1d10 plus 1d6 plus our charisma at this level. So 3d6 is lovely. It's quite nice. Obviously, I'm assuming that we can get sneak attack, but there are ways and we should be able to get it. Cool. That's that. Level 3, things start to change. Level 3 of Warlock. Level 4 total for the character. So we're one behind on ASIs and stuff. We will go ahead and roll our d8 for... Oh, I can just roll it here. Oh, look at that. I don't even have to move. Roll a d8. It's a 1. We're going to re-roll that d8 because I'm going to re-roll my 1s. It's a 7. Woo! We are a beefy fucking Warlock. Oh, that's 25. Holy shit, dude. Apply. We have 37 hit points at level 4. That's fantastic. Absolutely stellar. We are good to go. Hell, if we were building this character in melee, we'd be happy with that. Especially considering that we're walking into combat most of the time with 10 extra from a 2nd level Armor of Agathis that we get once per day for free. Very, very cool for us as a character. So, listen. I think there are actually, interestingly, 2 really good ways to go with this build right now. There are 2 solidly viable ways. And I think they are as follows. I think one way we could build this character is we don't take Pact of the Blade here. It's the thing that we take, right? Like it's the thing that we take. The weapon is magical. We can resummon it to ourselves, and it gives us access to other invocations, which make it better, like way better. Improved pact weapon. We can switch Mask of Many Faces to be a +1 hand crossbow. We might not get a +1 hand crossbow from our DM. We could swap that into our hex weapon. We could like take the spirit of whatever's in our hand crossbow and swap it into a better hand crossbow if we wanted to, and that would be great. But we might not get that, so the ability to get that from a pact is really good. It's really good. But also, when we hit level 5, we can take the Thirsting Blade invocation and get 2 attacks. And if we do pick up Crossbow Expert, we can get then 3 attacks. Attack, bonus action attack. And each of those attacks applies Hex or Hexblade's Curse, one or the other. And can crit and deals damage and is really good. And deals our flat charisma damage. And that's really good. And that's like lots and lots of damage. Like the best damage. Super good. I think the other way to build this character right here, right now, is to go 3 here and then work again on our rogue levels. It's crazy, right? But we don't get our ASI. Just don't get it. we get an extra d6 of damage from sneak attack. This is not equivalent to 2d6 from extra attacks and 2d6 of extra damage from hex, but it is an extra damage of sneak attack. We get cunning action, which makes us more mobile and gives us disengage, and bonus action hide, which is cool, granted advantage on attacks. We also could take Pact Boon, Pact of the Chain, and get a really nice familiar that we can get at all times, like an imp, which we wouldn't have attack for us usually, but it could be invisible and then use its invisibility to do stuff. We could take Assassin Rogue and try to smite or like sneak attack, and be very sneaky. We could take a Scout and get a lot more stuff. We could be Swashbuckler, and that gives us cool stuff because our initiative goes way higher and our sneak attack becomes better if we're within 5 feet of creatures, and that's cool, and we don't have disadvantage, but we would. I don't think I want to do any of this. I think I want 1 rogue, and I think I want a 5 in Hexblade because we get an ASI to play with, we get a 3rd invocation, and that invocation is going to be taken up immediately by only one thing, and that is going to be Pact of the Blade and Thirsting Blade. There's nothing else that's as good. Sorry. Thirsting Blade, boom. I think it might be worth it to keep Devil's Sight and take Improved Pack Weapon. It fully depends on whether you are able to swing picking up a +1 magic weapon at this point, specifically a hand crossbow, because it needs to be a hand crossbow. Got to talk to your DM. If your DM is a generous god, a +1 hand crossbow falling into your lap would be godlike. The chances that it'll happen at this level may be low. Sorry, they might be low. I might let it happen, but it's the whole character's whole thing, but probably you're looking at more like level 10, 11 before you're getting something like that, and that's totally okay. So in that case, it would be worth it to swap out Mask of Many Faces if you wanted to for Improved Pact Weapon and just have yourself a +1 to your hand crossbow at all times. You could also turn it into a heavy crossbow, but you probably won't for a reason that we'll get into in a moment. I think that's reasonable to do anyway. I'm going to grab it for now. I think also keeping Mask of Many Faces is worth it, but we can just grab Disguise Self if we need to, or disguise ourselves otherwise. We're not going to take an ASI. We're already +4. It's not going to get much better than that, unfortunately for us. It's reasonable if you want to. If we were a custom lineage character, we would have +2 already in our charisma, and we would have this feat already. And then during this level, we could have another feat for even better juju, or we could take a full ASI and bump our charisma to 20. Either one would be viable. Obviously, most people will immediately think, well, you're hitting level 4 in a class, and you're taking a feat, you should be taking Crossbow Expert Sharpshooter. But again, I don't like building around Sharpshooter that much. I will, however, take Crossbow Expert right now. Oh, we've wanted this for forever. We've been dying for this change, this improvement for forever. And the fact of the matter is that it comes as a bunch of different things come for us. So we're still actually at level 3. Sorry, I forgot to do this properly. We're still actually at level 3 with 35 hit points, right? +12 from Constitution, rolled HP 23. Yeah, I think so. I think that's correct. Weird. Okay. I thought we had 37. I think we have 37. Yeah, because it was a 25 that I rolled total. Okay, hold on. Apply. Yeah, it was 37 at this level. So we are then going to take Pact of the Blade. And we can transform magic weapons into our Pact weapon at any point. And the Hex weapon, the Hex Warrior, right? This benefit extends to every Pact weapon you conjure with that feature, no matter the weapon's type. So it's now a part of us. And we are already bonded to the spirit of this weapon. We can always turn it into something else. And we could turn it into a heavy crossbow or a longbow and get more damage out of it in general, but we're not going to. We're going to keep it a hand crossbow. And that's for an obvious reason that I've already spoiled for you. But for now, it doesn't change that much about our build. We will take Improved Pack Weapon. So now we will be attacking with better plus to hit and better damage. We will be dealing because this is our packed weapon now. Click. We will be +7, which is as good as we could expect if we had maxed charisma, which is nice, and 1d6 +5. So that really offsets the idea that we would have to max our charisma anyway. We're already there. Obviously, if we did max it, we'd be +1 higher even, and that would be great, but we're not going to do that. And it deals basically all the same damage. It's 1d6, 1d6 sneak attack. Great. Good job, us. That really wasn't a great level for us. But we also get 2nd level Warlock spells, and those are good. At least there are some things here that are good. We could get Shadowblade, but we have a Hexblade weapon, so it doesn't matter. We're not going to do that. What we're really here for is Darkness. Free way to, for 10 minutes, grant ourselves advantage. It spreads in a 15-foot radius, which is amazing. In a sphere, we can cast it upon our hand crossbow if we would like to, because we choose a point within range, and we can choose the point on an object, and the point, it will move with it, so we can just keep it moving with us. Requires us to get close to creatures, but people can't see through the darkness, so it gives them disadvantage on attacks against us. And if we get them within it, well, we're unseen by them, so regardless, we still have advantage on attacks against them. So all of our attacks are made with advantage, which is wonderful for our DPR, and is just great in every possible way. It would be entirely reasonable for us to not take this spell and just wait to get it at 5 as a Tiefling, but I want it now, and so we're going to take it as a Warlock spell. We still will get 1 free casting per day, which is lovely, but we're going to take it now. We also might want to grab Misty Step, I think, would be the thing to get, just to have, right? Seems like the thing to get. Boop. And that is all we get. We don't get that much. We could change one of our spells out, but what we have is Hex and Shield and Misty Step and Darkness, and that's all we've got. And I think that's all we'll need. So we are a level 4 character. We can now, as an action before combat, cast Darkness upon ourselves or an object that we are wearing and walk around in our own portable darkness bubble. This might get in the way of our friends, and that might be really mean, but we will have basically permanent and guaranteed advantage if we like it upon enemies we would like to attack. This guarantees us the ability to gain sneak attack, which is really, really good, and just ups our damage expected per round immensely. It's just huge. At level 4 lock, which is our total level 5, we actually, at level 5 total, even though we're multi-classed, essentially get extra attack, and here's why. Bing, bong, bang, level 4 warlock. Let me roll a d8 for our hit points. It's an 8. Let's fucking go. So that takes us to 33 for rolled and 48 total hit points. What is up? We're beeferly as hell. What we get is an ability score improvement, and once again, no spoilers, we're taking Crossbow Expert. We all expected this. Bam, bam, 2 attacks per round. If we get our setup round either with Hex or with our Darkness up, we get 2 attacks per round from that point forward with advantage. Obviously, it still takes our action to do the Darkness thing, so in some cases, it might just be worth it for us to just drop Hex on people, or maybe Hexblade's Curse. We've got options. We can always Hexblade's Curse Darkness on our first round, and then attack on our second round. And that's probably our best, like, full out, using all our resources, Nova style round that we could do. And it's really fucking good. Concentrate on Darkness. Hexblade's Curse gives us 19 or 20 for crit. We're attacking with advantage. We get +2, plus proficiency bonus, which is now 3 because we're level 5, to damage to each of those attacks. Blam, blam. So we're shooting them for, in terms of damage, still 1d6, but it's +7 per hit at a really good to hit rate with a 1920 to crit with advantage. That's really good. It's really, really good. And we're concentrating on Darkness as we go, and we're not getting attacked back very much, and we might have Armor of Agathis up because that's cool. We're doing great for ourselves. It's lovely. And finally, we will kill a bunch of things at this level, and we will level up to level 5 in Warlock. Let's go ahead and roll the d8 for hit points. Boink. Couldn't get lucky all the time. We get ourselves a 2. Well, at least you can't say that I haven't been fair. Oh, it was 33, so now it's 35. I went down. 53 total hit points as a level 6 character is not too shabby at all. Well, we only get one thing right now. Well, we get a couple things. We get 3rd level spells, which we will talk about. We also get an additional invocation and some additional invocation options based on our pact. We get things like Maddening Hex and a bunch of things. Cloak of Flies is really cool in some builds. Lots of cool things that are very neat, but there's only one thing for us really right now, and it is Thirsting Blade. So now with our +1 hand crossbow, our pact weapon, you can attack with your pact weapon twice instead of once when you take the attack action. So we will be firing our hand crossbow now in darkness, hopefully with Hexblade's Curse on, or maybe we just have Hex on instead and don't have Darkness cast. But we do have our free casts of Darkness now from just our racial, which is very cool. But we will be making 3 attacks with our hand crossbow, the first of which will deal 2d6 plus 5 because of sneak attack, the second 2 of which will deal 1d6 plus 5. If we have Hexblade's Curse up, it'll be 1d6 plus 7 for each of those. If we do other things, if we have sneak attack going, it's great. We may be critting a lot. We're dealing a lot of damage. We're doing really well. It's not like amazing. It's not the best ever, but it is quite strong for a ranged character build. Obviously, if we had crossbow expert and sharpshooter, it would just be calculably stronger, and massively so. But I think I'm very happy with this build. I'm glad I stuck with the Tiefling. I think it's cool. It made me lean into the darkness thing, and that's neat. And I think this does really reasonably solid damage all throughout its career, from level 1 on. Maybe not the best ever, but still a very fun build and very fun to build out, and I think very, very much viable at basically any table, and also I think would be really fun to play and lead to a ton of fun role-playing opportunities if you were to play out a character with this kind of an idea of someone who got kind of duped into forming a pact with a magical weapon and is now stuck in that situation. Thanks for watching. I don't know if this video will go up, but if it does, that's great. You can support me on Patreon, check it out, and I'll see you next time. Peace.